Welcome to the 90s Teachers Podcast, where we are currently taking up space in the education arena as two Black millennial teachers in different parts of the world.
Throughout this journey, you will learn about being a teacher in today's society as we share personal stories and life experiences in the classroom.
I am Tasya.
And I am Zahra.
And we are just both teachers. This is our episode 2. And this has been a really awesome journey. I've been having so much fun making this podcast with you, honestly. It's been honestly a pleasure.
Oh my God, the pleasure is mine. Every time we link up, we end up just having full on, very in-depth conversations. So I think it's just amazing what we're doing together. And other people can listen and catch up and reflect as well. I think it's important.
Yeah, and it was so fun meeting you for the first time. Like, what was it, last
Yes,
week?
it was last week, guys. We connected. I went to New York City, Long Island City. Is
Long
that where
Island
it
City,
is?
you got it.
Long Island City. It was actually incredible. The energy is unmatched. And I'm just grateful that we got to link up in person, in real life.
Because if y'all don't know, like we literally met on Instagram online. I was having like a series, and my coach was like, "Oh, reach out to 20 people you don't know," and I'm like, "Okay." And I was been following Zara for a while, and I really liked her content, so that's really like how we became friends.
Yeah, no, honestly. And I feel like it was just so organic because our energies are very similar.
Mhm.
We're literally around the same age. And you just connect. Like, I think the passion that we have inside and outside the classroom kind of bonds us together. And I love it, even though we're in two separate countries, but it's okay. We make it work.
We definitely do make it work. So, how you been doing? How's life been treating you so far?
Life has been lifing for me. It has actually been the busiest week for me because, of course, you knew I was in New York with you. And then when I came back, I had my grad trip. So it was back-to-back grad trip. So I did a grade 8 picnic and I was one of the teachers in charge. My co-teacher got sick. So I had to take the reins on that. So it was a lot, but we did it. We survived. The kids had tons of fun. And then report cards are done, which is nice. So now it's just like coasting. So this week is our last week, and tomorrow's my grade 8 graduation. So I'm just excited and elated, just to see my grade 8s graduate. So yeah,
That is
just
so
happy.
cute. It's the same thing here. Like this is also like our last 2 days. Like Monday and Tuesday are our last 2 days of school, and then we're done.
Oh my God, congratulations
Yes,
from all of
congratulations to
us.
you
All of us, we have
too.
survived another
Congratulations to you
school
too.
year.
It's definitely been a year.
Yes.
Definitely been a year.
How
Okay,
are you? How are you
me? Oh,
doing?
me. Oh,
Yes,
me,
you.
girl. Who would have enough time on this podcast to talk about me right now? But I've definitely have had I mean, my week started off really well. I'm not gonna lie. It started off really well. I was, going in with better spirits.
Yeah.
I was, being able to take time for myself and even like connecting with other friends. And, it's been really cool. But at work though, like things are just uh there's a lot of chaos happening
Yeah.
at work in regards to me.
Yeah.
A teacher actually told my administrator that I did something that I didn't do,
Yeah.
and blew the whole thing up. And
Yeah.
so now he thinks I don't do my job. He's having conversations with me about like if I want to leave, I can go, things like that. It's just very disrespectful, really rude. So I decided to actually I decided to leave. Not because of them. Like I have a co-teacher that's like, if you leave, like, you can just encounter the same people over and over again. And it's like I'm not running from them though. It's like
Mhm.
when you know you're calling and you know where God has been leading you to go, and like it's been something that God has been really been telling me for like a couple months now. And I'm
Mhm.
like, God, like I don't have like what am I gonna do? Like I don't I can't just leave. Like I don't have nothing lined
Mhm.
up yet. And he's been telling me to leave because he's like, once you leave, that's when I'll open doors for you, right?
Yeah.
But until you take the first step and let me know that you trust me that to do
Mhm.
that. So it's like a process I'm going through, and it's really scary. I'm not gonna even
Yeah.
lie. But it's just like I think that this conversation he wanted to have with me on Thursday just kind of confirmed it for me. Like, first of all, I don't deserve this treatment. Like, first of all, I don't believe you should be yelling. No one, look, I have employees at my tutoring company, right? Like, there will be no way I would ever yell at any of them, regardless of how upset I am at them, or if they did something like that was outside of my expectations. It's like you need to know how to speak to people. And I
Yeah.
really believe that I don't know whether he has something about, because maybe like I went further in my education and he knows
Mhm.
about it. I don't know what
Yeah.
his deal with is all of a sudden with me, but it's like there's a way you should speak to people. And the way he
Yeah.
spoke to me on Thursday was so disrespectful and just expecting me just to be like, okay, like accept it. And it's like, no, sir,
And
don't
what
intimidate me.
no,
Sorry.
yeah, and what actually, like, kills me is, like, even just navigating the school system, and, like, we preach to kids how we have to be courteous to one another, speak kindly, but a lot of adults that I've come across as well, but not at where I am, but before when I was applying, were just very like that, very much negative, don't know how to speak to people, and it's just disgusting to me because it's like we're professionals, right? At the end of the day. And if you're a person who is running a school, then you have to run it in a way that you need to learn how to speak to people in a
People.
professional manner. So I don't think people should just be yelling at people. Like, first of all, we're humans.
I'm not a
Secondly,
child.
you're the, yeah.
Secondly,
Secondly, you need to act like a boss. So if you are the boss, you can't just be yelling at your employees. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. I just think that's so unprofessional, and bad call on that person's end. And a person like that with that type of behavior shouldn't be in positions of power. Because again, you have to learn how to navigate and work with people who have different personalities than you, and that's okay. You know what I mean? You're not gonna like everybody that you work with, but you have to
exactly.
move accordingly in a way that it's a positive environment. And if the boss is not setting that, then I think it's sometimes it's good for us to bow out. You know what I mean? And it's okay because your mental health is important. I don't think anybody should overstay in a place where they feel their mental health is deteriorating. I think number one is that you have to take care of yourself, you know?
Absolutely. And it has been. This whole year's been
Yeah.
deteriorating. Saying, oh, you don't do, saying things like you need to
No.
do your job. It's like, sir,
Yeah.
is it me that needs to do my job?
No,
Like,
I
it's
he needs to do
you.
his job because he
Yeah.
don't know. He does not know how to navigate. Like, the thing is, like, if you're not checking in and you're not, and it's not more than one co-teacher, then I think for sure they need to do a better job.
Come
That
on
doesn't make
now.
any sense.
Absolutely. So that's my
Yeah.
thing. I decided, like, didn't even like, usually I'll ask people like, what do you think? But literally, like, I was like, this
Yeah.
is a thing between me and God. He's
Yeah.
been told me to leave. I don't need to ask
Yeah.
anybody for validation. I don't need to
Yeah.
tell anybody about it. This
Yeah.
is what I need to do for myself.
Yeah, and honestly, what I believe is like, because in Islam we say the same thing is like you make dua, and dua is just like you talk to God on where like whatever guidance you need, and if you in your heart in your prayers and you believe it, and it's what we call it is yaqeen, so you have like strength into
Mhm.
your prayers, then God got you. You know what I mean? It's just due
Absolutely.
time. So I believe God got you, girl.
I believe so too,
And
girl.
you're a PhD holder. Like, what? Like, are you crazy? What? You about to level up on these people. What?
Yo.
Yeah.
Listen, girl. Yes. So
Yeah.
that's me. That's my
Yeah.
life right now. Me navigating this crazy,
You got this.
crazy thing, but also
But
just
you know what's
trusting
crazy?
God.
I don't even know where I'm going in September. So we're basically in the
Oh,
same boat. So, like, literally, my students keep coming to me, Miss, are you gonna be here next year? Please say yes. I can't even give them the false hope because I don't know. Like, I'm not contracted, I'm not tenured, so I don't know where I'm gonna help. I know that God got me too, right?
God
So,
got you too, girl. I was about
inshallah,
to say the
God
same
willing,
thing.
literally, like that's
God
where I'm
got you
going in.
too.
God got us.
God
Period.
got us. That's so wild how we're both even last week we were talking about the same similar situation. We're
Yeah.
same thing.
Literally, we're the same. Like after
The
this, I'm
same.
just
Just
navigating. But
navigate.
honestly, I am like just like with you, I'm the same. Like I really truly believe like I love what I do and you love what I do. And I believe that God got us. And I feel like we'll have endless opportunities and God willing, it will be great places where the environment is nice. I would love to come back to the school that I'm at if they will have me next year, inshallah. So I don't mind. And I hope you have a school that actually treats you with all the respect that you deserve
Yeah,
and
thank you.
positively and pours
Honestly, I
into
don't
you.
even think that I want to go back to working at a
Mhm.
school. I think I
Yeah,
just want to go full-time entrepreneur, to be honest.
yeah. And you know what? Do
You
it.
know,
What is a
I
better
think I'm
way?
gonna do
Go
it.
into the summer. I know you can do it.
Yeah, I
Got
think I'm
this.
gonna do
Invest
it.
in yourself.
Just put my
Yes.
all into my businesses, and to be
Yes.
honest, like,
Do it.
yeah,
Mhm. You got
yeah.
this. It's a lot.
Enough, yeah, it's a lot. But okay, so this week we have a topic from, well, it's not really a topic, it's a video I saw on Board Teachers. On their Instagram is at board BORED_teachers. And they just post, it's like they have a podcast, they post like little funny
Yeah.
reels and things like that. And so there is this video I saw, and the stand-up comedian was talking about how she has a 2-year teacher that's her co-teacher that just started teaching with her, and she said she's like, oh well, she's so much more enthusiastic than me. She
Yeah.
wears shirts that say teaching is my superpower, what's yours?
You know, it's crazy that you say that.
So
It's
wait,
really, yeah.
I want
No,
to actually
yeah.
play the video for
Play the
y'all,
video. Play
and
the
then
video.
we can talk about it.
We got it off Instagram. So board teachers, BORED_teachers, is a great platform to follow.
So funny. Okay, here we go.
I work with. She's 2 years in. She's like 24 years old. And to say my enthusiasm does not match hers is an understatement. She wears shirts that say things like, I teach, what's your superpower? Some of you have them, don't you? Look, I'm sure you're great. But for the purposes of this joke, a shirt that says I'm trying my best, that's what I want. Because my superpower is leaving at 3:05 every day.
So if you guys want to know, like I said, it's board teachers, board_teachers, and the stand-up comedian, her handle is ITS Liz LIZ Blanc BLANC. So girl, what are some of your thoughts about that?
All right. So firstly, she's talking about me because I'm the enthusiast teacher. I'm not 24. I'm 29, pushing 30. This is my second full year of teaching. And it's crazy because I actually didn't buy myself a t-shirt like that. A student gave me one. She made it for me last year, and it says, "I'm because I was a dance, visual arts, and drama teacher. What's your superpower?" And it was like a black shirt, and I was just like, "Oh my god, thank you!" She made on her little cricket machine. So for me, it's just I do a lot. Like one thing that people will tell you in like the people that I work with or my students is I pour in a lot. And sometimes this could be my downfall, but also a good quality of me is I don't know how to say no. Like whenever somebody asks me, whether it's like, hey, miss, I want to start a drama club. Can you be the teacher? Yes. Or miss, I don't want to eat lunch in the lunchroom today. I don't feel like, can you eat in your classroom? Yes. Or miss, I don't want to go outside. Can I stay for recess in your classroom? Yes. Like I'm just that yes person. And or like everybody in the school just comes into my classroom because it's always inviting. But sometimes it's a downfall because I don't have time for myself. Like breaks are needed, but sometimes I don't know how to take those breaks or disconnect. And it's still a balance that I'm still trying to work on because I'm a person, again, of service, or like I like to give back, or I'm like, yes, 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 anything for all the students. So I am definitely that enthusiastic teacher that she's talking about for sure. I do not leave work at 3:05. My school ends at 2:45. And for the past month, I've been leaving 5 p.m. almost 6, because also I was doing the play, but then I was marking or helping other teachers with something. So yeah, I have then, I'm definitely that teacher she's talking about. Literally.
So funny. I what's so funny is I feel like I'm the middle child because it's not like
Mm.
I'm a fresh teacher, but I'm also not a veteran teacher. It's like I'm in a
Yeah.
weird place in the
You're like
middle.
in between. You're in
Yeah,
between.
where I'm like I'm tenured.
Mm,
It's like end of my year 5 going into year 6. But honestly, I don't know. Like I remember being a second year teacher and wanting like I was so excited. I remember telling my principal, I'm like, I want to start a leadership club. Can I do it? Like asking him, like, can I start a club? I started book clubs for the kids. I started leadership
mhm.
clubs for the kids. Like, and any amount of kids can just
Yeah.
come into the classroom. I used to want them to come in so bad, like
Yeah.
so bad. Like spend time with me, please. You know?
Yeah. I get
And
it.
yo, oh my God. Then COVID came, and then that was my 3rd year, like halfway through the year, COVID came,
Yeah.
and I was still like, yeah, let's.
Let's go. Let's go.
So yeah, I'm like, let's do it. Come on,
Mhm.
guys. Like literally. And no, that was my 2nd year COVID came. Well, my
Mhm.
2nd year COVID came, and the 3rd year we were strictly online.
Yeah.
And I was doing more things as well. I created like one that's honestly how my tutoring program came about. Like
Mhm.
because I started like doing one-on-one things with the kids because I'm like, wait, all these kids disappeared from the face of the earth. Like
Yeah.
where are they? Like I was genuinely worried about them, worried about their home life,
Mhm.
worried about like who they're, what they were doing, like seriously concerned.
Yeah.
So I started like meeting them one on one, scheduling them in my Google Calendar, and like we would meet, we would talk,
Mhm.
we would have fun, like, and then we would like try to get done the work that they were missing in school.
Mhm.
And so I don't know what happened. No, I do know what happened. I think so. Then year 4, right? Year 4 came and we are back in the building, right? And I still feel like I had that drive, honestly. But
Yeah.
I think that going back to similar to what she was saying about how she's just excited to just leave at
Yeah.
3:05, I think that your environment plays such a huge part of
Yes.
how you show up. And I'm
Yeah.
not trying to put blame on anything, but I just put responsibility, accountability on myself for allowing like toxic environments to infiltrate me. And not only that, but like also when you are constantly having to fight back or defend
Mhm.
yourself, it gets
Yeah.
so tiring. Like
It
there,
does.
there are some kids in my class that may like I work at a predominantly like they're predominantly minority school, like West
Mhm.
Indian Black kids. And so like there are predominantly white teachers though. So
Yeah.
when the white teachers see these kids, like they automatically just see them as like a threat, or they'll
Yeah.
see them as like when they're not even, they're just being themselves. So
Yeah.
there's so many times where I've had to defend kids, like, or people,
Mhm.
or they would get so jealous that they would start doing, I had a co-teacher that literally like she was so mad, jealous. I would say jealous. We're in the classroom teaching together and she literally
Yeah.
pushes me in the class. Like it's just,
What?
yeah. And I had to be like, I had to be
What?
like, yes,
Wait.
hello, I'm standing here. She was like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. It's like, no, you were so passive aggressive. You did that on
Yeah.
purpose. Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding?
They'll
So
be like, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so it's just having those kind of, I think, those things when you have to fight so much to even just be in the school, it kind of just steers you away from wanting to do anything extra because
Mhm.
it's a huge energy drain.
It is. No, 100%. And like when you hit it on the mark, one thing that I realized, because I'm a straight shooter. Like one thing about me, I don't like hot, cold people or people who are passive aggressive. And one thing that I learned about teaching is it's a Hunger Games of passive aggressiveness. And just like, what is this? Even when I was like a student teacher, I could not believe my eyes. I was like, why are we talking to each other like this? Like, why can't we just be direct? Like, I don't understand. Why do I have to read between the lines? Like, why are we throwing like unsolicited shots for what reason? Like me, I'm a person, I don't do that. And I don't move like maneuver in environments where people do that a lot. So that's why I immerse myself in with the kids. Like I'd rather spend all my free time with my students or with the student body and the community and allow these kids to actually have fun and socialize with one another in safe spaces than play like talk to people about like what has happened or just negative things and just shade between admin and teacher. I don't care. Like drama, you can miss me with that. Like that's one thing. And that's one thing that I appreciate now that I'm a teacher. Because when I was a student teacher, I didn't have that privilege because I had to just do whatever that mentor teacher did. So if the mentor teacher ate at the teacher's lounge, I had to eat the teacher's lounge. Like I can't. And they tell us that you can't talk a certain way because you don't want to ruffle feathers or like, and things like that. Like imagine this is what you're being told as a student teacher. So you start to believe that. But once I became a real, like an actual like OCT, like licensed teacher, I was just like, no, like I'm going to take up space. I'm not going to be like quiet again. Like I have a voice now. Like I earned my degree, you know what I mean? And I'm going to use it. And I had to use it a couple of times. But first it was just that nerve wrackingness, like recognize is like, oh my God, like, am I doing too much? But I was like, no, I would be doing a disservice again if I'm not standing up for kids, especially kids who look like me. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's so important to raise our voices and to take up space and not allow the negative energy of teachers who've been working for so long. And I'm not even one thing that I realize now, like before I was very like ignorant. And I will say that. Like I kept saying like, oh, if a teacher is like a very experienced teacher, if you feel like you've been working for too long, like leave or something. But then now I'm like, okay, I get it. Cause a lot of like I see how this year is the first time that I'm realizing how the system works and how some of like the regulations are just a lot and it kind of turns off teachers to do what they want to do. Like I wanted to do something like, let's say I wanted to we were having a grad picnic and I wanted to rent an ice cream truck, and the amount of regulations in order for me to rent, like I had to cancel the ice cream truck at this point because it wasn't
Oh.
happening because there's just so many rules and regulations. And I'm just like, why can't we just have fun? And I remember like an experienced teacher came up to me and they were like, what you did is so thoughtful. Like it's amazing for you to even go out of your way to do that. And they're like, yeah, sometimes the rules are just the rules. And they were pissed. Like the experienced teachers, like the advice that I got was basically like it's easier to ask for forgiveness. In my head I was like, yes, it is. If I was like if I was a tenured teacher, if I was a teacher who had
Right.
experience, right? Because then as new teachers, I feel like we're not like they don't like we're not like it's not that we're respected, but like we're looked at like, hey, like you're new, like we understand your passion and your enthusiasm, but like calm down. You know what I mean? But it's just like as the experienced teacher is telling me that, but I don't even have the space to even have that thought, but like, oh, like I can just ask for forgiveness later because I'm not in that position currently. So I
Mhm.
have to just go around whatever and follow the rules and regulations. But I understand now, like even with the teacher on from the video, like I get it. Like the system can really, I'm not honestly break you down. But one thing that I realized to myself is I won't let it break me down. And
Mhm.
the reason why I won't let it break me down, because I always reflect on why I even wanted to be a teacher in the first
Mhm.
place. And I feel like we shouldn't, every time we feel like we're falling off or you feel like your passion is not there, I feel like every day before you go into work, you should always ask yourself the why. Like, why did you become a teacher? I think that is so important. And I know with people who have families and kids and life, it's hard. But I work with a great teacher and he's a family man and he has young kids and a wife, and his wife is also a teacher. But like he literally pours into the kids the same. Like you can still do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be black and white. And I feel like another issue is a lot of the schools, the teachers don't work together. Like I feel like we need to build a community. I think it's so important. If there's no community in the school, then the students are not going to feel that community and they're not going to become a community themselves, right? So we have to be the leading example. If we're not leading by example, then why are we preaching we're a classroom community, we're family, but the teachers are not showing the same things that we're preaching. So I think that is key. Like again, when I said like I legit did the whole school play by myself. Usually people do this. Like growing up, I remember it would be like 4, 5, 6 teachers who do it together. I
Mhm.
did this all on my own. Literally had help by a few teachers when I was sick, but like realistically, all of it was done by myself. And it didn't have to be that way, but that's just the way it landed. And a lot of teachers after COVID to are busy or got used to just like not like, I guess like with COVID, it kind of made it easy for you not to do extracurriculars again because it was canceled for so long. And then now it's like, why go back into it? But it's like we have to because these kids lost so much time where they can talk and mingle and great connections and explore their passions. Like if we don't allow or create spaces like that, then what are we doing?
Mm-hmm. That's really good. That was really good points that you made, honestly. Um, it's interesting because I honestly have grown to have a lot of compassion for veteran teachers
Mm,
also,
yeah.
because it's like I always think about it like this, like I feel like all of us come in really excited. I don't think that there's one teacher that ever
Mm,
comes into being a teacher and is not excited.
yeah.
I could never see it that way.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have gone through, even though let's say you would want the flexibility, you want the hours, you
Mhm.
have to have some kind of heart for kids. You know what
100%.
I mean?
For sure.
But it's so it to me, it's just like when you are consistently like shut down and when you have ideas and it's like things don't work out, or when you get like complete like I believe feedback is important, but when you're
Mhm.
consistently like putting your best effort forward
Mhm.
and like no one sees any good in what you're doing and you have to just rely on your own self effort and you have to rely on just what you know you've done, regardless of you getting
Yeah.
continuous like negative observational feedback with no
Yeah.
support. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Yeah.
That over time can definitely make it as much as we would want it to. That's why I think the ideal school environment is important, right? Because
So
if you're consistently getting that kind of feedback, you're consistently in an environment like that, you're naturally going to be like, what the heck? Like this is
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like I can only think about my co-teacher. Like she finally, they're finally gonna tenure her, but they made her go through so many loops just to get there. So
Mhm.
many. And I'm like, she's an amazing teacher. And like
That's the
it
issue though, because
yeah,
even here, like I remember, like it's crazy. You would think, like when people come to me, you're not a full-time teacher yet. Well, I can't control. They're like, but you're on the news, you're on here, you're on there, but I can't control it. Like I don't know. I feel like the process of how they hire people is so like it's so like black and white because there's no connection. It's like a checklist from just what you're
yes,
saying. I feel like there should be a way where when you hire teachers or when teachers are working in the classroom, where principals or whoever is hiring should go in and observe how the teacher is in the actual classroom. I think that's important. I feel like anybody can say any right answer, memorize it, and sit down and give you all these beautiful keywords that you have in your curriculum. Anybody can do that, but can you go into a classroom and see how can you vouch for how these teachers are teaching in the classrooms that you just hired?
100%.
No. But I feel like they need to change. The system does need to change. And I've been saying that. Like I was talking to a friend, I was like, yeah, like I feel like they need to go and visit. I feel like more people, the board needs to actually visit teachers while they're in their classrooms. I think that's so key. Pop in, see how the classroom dynamics are. Well, how is a teacher in that community? How are the students receptive to them? I think this is so like this is key, right? I don't think we should just be hiring people by just sitting there putting on our best suit and our here's my resume and then again and then is like you're only picking 200 out of like 2,000 candidates. No, I feel like I think it should be changed, and I think it should be people going into the classrooms. I think that should
Wow.
be.
They don't go into the classrooms for you?
No, like us, like we had a big hire. It was like 50 different interviews happening in like one big banquet hall at the same time. You
Mm.
had only 15 minutes, 3 questions. That's it. Like literally with two
What?
principals. Yeah, it was crazy. And I don't do well in like just talk. Like I get like I'm very anxious person. Like I feel like when I'm talking to somebody and I feel like it's something very formal, I get scared. Like it's a little, you know what I mean? And my first interview when I did it was over Zoom. Like my first official interview when
Mhm.
got hired was over Zoom. And it was easier because it's from the comfort of my own home. But this was like 50 different interviews happening at the same time. And it was like the scariest thing. And I just felt like a number. That's what I feel like an exchange. I
Wow.
feel like I was auditioning for So You Think You Can Dance Canada or something. That's what I felt
Wow.
like, or American Idol. That's the best way that I can describe it. They're like,
Wow.
next, dude, it's your number ID. I'll just like, whoa. Yeah.
It's
So
really
I
not
feel
like that here.
yeah,
Um,
it's not like I don't usually what they say is like schools will call you, but they did like some big hire recently, but that was horrible. That was like the worst experience ever.
Is that
Yeah.
like your public school system? Like, what system is that?
Yeah, it's a public school system, yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
When they were doing a
Yeah.
mass hire, they were hiring for like only 250 positions,
Mhm.
and then there was like over 2,000 people who applied and got interviews. So imagine. Literally. I've seen everybody, and it was just like that. I went to school. We're all literally fighting for the same job. This is hilarious. But it was like a reunion though, because I saw a lot of people that I went to teachers college with, and a lot
Yeah.
of the people that I work at the current school that were all that are LTOs as well were there. So
Mhm.
it's just hilarious. But I wish the school board came into the classrooms and actually saw what we are
What you
doing
were doing.
in real life and in real time. I think that is so important.
Well, yeah, because
I didn't do that.
here it's like with the public school system, like you can go to like a career fair and then if they like you, they'll interview you. But in your
Yeah.
interview, you definitely have to do a demo lesson,
Yeah.
and they have to see you in action and then, they'll make a decision that way.
Mhm.
So it's so interesting that they just kind of ask you three questions and then it makes you
Yeah, it
wonder
was for
like,
that one because usually, like when I was talking to like veteran teachers in my school, they were saying that they got interviewed by the principals at the school that they're at.
right,
If you know what I
exactly.
mean? And it was like 45 to 1 hour, which was more in depth. But this one was such a mass hire, but it was so like it felt like you're 15 minutes. It was like a number. Like that's what I said. How can you get to know somebody in 3 questions in 15 minutes?
Right.
Like it just didn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah, here they definitely go in.
Yeah.
My thing with the with tenure is different. It's like you'll get tenured. You have to have worked for 4 years at a public
Mhm.
like for straight. And then your principal can put you up for tenure. He doesn't have to, like he did with my co-teacher. What he did was he extended her probation.
Oh wow.
So yeah, he extended her probation because he didn't want to give her tenure then because of her algebra, her regents. Remember I told you we have those qualifying exams?
Yeah. Yeah.
So because of her data, he didn't want to give it to her. And it was kind of messed up because it's like he told her to prepare everything. So she went to the meeting with everything prepared, and then he's gonna tell
Yeah.
her, like, no, you can't get it.
But like again, with those, okay. So then let's just say like those sound like the test, the regions that you guys had. Is it just like a test where you sit down and it's like multiple choice and short answers?
Yes.
See, then that's why I have a problem because then how about kids who have different learning styles? Why are
Yes.
we only assessing them only from one thing, which is like a big region test, which is already very like you're giving kids
Yes.
anxiety and you're only using that data. I feel like that's skewed. I don't think that data is even that's not fair to judge somebody just from that data from what they taught in the
And
school
she's a
year just by
phenomenal
one test.
teacher.
I know, but that's just why I'm saying it's so
I know.
backwards. I hate standardized testings. I think it's the worst thing ever. I think it's useless. I don't know why we do it. It's so outdated because like time and time again, you tell us in teachers college, we need to assess using different forms of assessment. So why are we only using the data from formative writing test assessment? That doesn't make any sense.
No, absolutely. I
It's
totally understand
horrible.
what you're
It's
saying. Yeah.
horrible.
It's just like, and like you just said, like kids learn in different formats. They live differently. Like maybe they
They
won't be able to
do.
perform this way in.
Exactly, and especially with kids on IEPs. Like I know kids on our IEPs that only can they have to transcribe it for them, so they can only answer orally. Or maybe
Mhm.
somebody needs a computer, or somebody needs more of a visual learner. So you need to kind of meet kids where they are. So I don't think you could just give them one test that everybody kid gets the same test and be like, okay, this is the scores to reflect what kind of teacher you are. That is
No,
crazy to me because at the
crazy.
end of the day, that doesn't, because you're telling us to teach in a different way and assess kids differently, but then you're only using this data. That's very
It's messed. The
hypocritical.
whole thing was really messed up.
Yeah.
I just feel like sometimes they like people. I don't know if my principal in general, but like some administrators use that as as a source of power, like so that they feel like they
Yeah.
have something over you. Because honestly, like I think that she's an amazing teacher. Like I really
And I
do.
believe you.
You know,
I don't think she should even feel down on herself
and
because
she
of what's out of her
does.
control. I know, and I
She
know
works
she
so
probably does because
hard on herself.
I know, but she shouldn't because this is not
Mm-mm.
you. It's just the system that we're in, and it's not fair. It is so not fair.
No, it's not. So. I mean, it's crazy. Like back to the veteran teacher conversation.
Yeah.
I have grown to have empathy for them.
Mhm.
Only because it's like we were talking about yesterday, how I was saying about the retirement and how there's a lot of jobs that are like taking limiting the retirement. And it's like, what do
Mhm.
you do if you one, if you don't have faith? Like we both have
Mhm.
faith in God, but it's
Yeah.
like if you don't have faith and also you've been in the system for 13 plus years and you have a family and
Mhm.
then you're losing your passion,
Yeah.
but this is all you have, and then
Yeah.
you're kind of like, what do I do? Like you don't
I
have any
know.
really, and you don't have anything bigger to rely on. I've noticed that people that don't kind of like have
Mhm.
aren't faith-based at all, they just rely on, I don't know what what they really look
Yeah.
to, you know?
Yeah, I
It's
don't
kind of
know.
like they're just going in the motions with the world. They think their job is what fulfills them. They think like their family will fulfill them. They think like
Mhm.
these materialistic things in life will fulfill them. And if when
Yeah.
they and when they like attach like their worth to that, then it's like that's all they really feel like
Yeah.
they know. That's all they really have feel like they have control over.
Yeah.
So I like I said, over time I've learned to have compassion or empathy,
Yeah.
but that it's the toxicity that I have to deal with that I'm like, okay,
No, but
like
like the thing is, like if you have toxicity, in general, then I feel like that's where the issue begins because I feel like
yes.
we hold a position of power, whether we like it or not. We have power. We have
Mhm.
power. We have power that like negates the paths that our students take in the future. You know what I mean? So I feel like we can't just chuck it up to yes, we're burnt out or the system is broken, but I feel like if you feel like that and you can't really get that passion or even just do an okay job or do your best, then I feel like then there has to be some sort of transition. I feel like they should create some sort of transition between teachers who are like kind of lost or just broken by the system, getting them into a job maybe in the school system, but that doesn't have to deal with like dealing with kids or teaching kids 24/7. You know what I mean? I feel like
Mhm.
maybe like I don't know, working in is there an office of the board? But I'm just saying that just for the sake of the kids, because kids feel energy. These kids did not pick to be in your classroom. They're placed there.
Mhm.
You chose to be a teacher. Students all have to go to school, whether they like it or not. It's by
True.
law, you know? But the fact is, if you don't enjoy what you're doing anymore, you're doing a disservice to kids. And that's where I have a problem. I feel like
Mhm.
if you've lost your passion and you don't like, it's not that you don't care, but you're just over it and you just want to get through it. I feel like then you have to have some sort of aha moment and decide to bow out gracefully from the job that you've selected. Yeah,
Mhm.
I get it. You want to work towards your pension, but is money really worth it at the end? I don't know. For me, I
I
don't
don't
even
think
do
so
it for the
either.
money, but I that's just where I'm at, you know? Because I feel like the power that we hold is it's vital, it's critical. We're not just teachers, we're these kids. It was some sort of like we're their caretakers, we're their therapists, we're their doctors, we're their nurses, we're everything to them for 10 months, right? We spend so much time together. We see the growth. They're in our buildings. So I think that some of the teachers need to reflect on that, you know? It's not
Mhm.
about passion. I feel like when people understand it's like it's why we chose the job. And when new teachers come in, we're already coming in with our whys because we're just excited to be teachers or
Exactly.
you know what I mean, to be in the classroom, to be around students, to be the change, you know? So it's not that we think teaching is our superpower. It is a power that we hold and it holds a lot of power, you know what I mean? And it kind of negates the paths that our students take. So I think they need to
Mhm.
remember that.
Yeah, I also think it's important to know that just because in one season, like you were excited about something, doesn't mean that it's supposed to be for every
Yeah,
season, you know? Like
exactly.
I'm definitely in the realm where I believe
Yeah.
that not everything is meant to last forever,
And that's
you
okay.
know? And
Yes.
it's like if you and I think that's what society kind of pushes on us because of the pension. You know, it's like, oh, you
Mhm.
have to work until you're 30 for
Yeah.
30 years. I remember when I first got the job as a teacher,
Yeah.
somebody was like, "Oh, only 30 more years left."
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. Or when they make
Okay.
comments like, "Oh, you just started. You don't even know. Like, you'll see what we mean." You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And
like
I'm like, "Okay, but
like,
no."
oh, 15, 30 more years
Yeah,
left. And I'm like,
yeah,
yeah. Anyways, I think that it's okay. And I think this is what millennials are learning too, that we don't have to stay at a job for 15 plus
yes,
years. Like you
1,000%.
we
Yeah,
are supposed to grow, learn,
mhm,
experience life. Like we don't
yeah,
have to stay at a profession for half of our life, and then when we're
yeah,
60, then all of a sudden we decide like, "Oh, I'm gonna go live." Like,
yeah,
no, we are not
no,
like that.
exactly.
So, I
I
think it's
agree.
kind of like what you're saying. It's like once you have to come to the mindset where you're like, "I don't have to stay. This is doesn't have to be my
Mhm,
end all be all." Like,
at
I
all.
can choose to leave when I decide that I want to leave, and
Yes, that
that's
part.
okay.
That part, and I feel like what you said hits it on the mark, because even with people, like, especially in teaching, I know so many teachers that I work with, and this is like their second or third career, right? You don't have to ride out this career to the end. Nobody tells you that. You think like that because I feel like it's comfortability. I think
Yes,
that's what it is. You're comfortable. But I feel like we should shake things up. I don't think we should get too comfortable, because then we get lost, right? It just becomes routine. Because I don't think, like, the way I was teaching last year is completely different than what I taught this year. You know what I mean? I have new students in front of me. I have to adapt to the students in front of me. I can't keep teaching the same curriculum all, like, over and over again, right? Like, there were teachers that have the same worksheets, the same unit, and they're like, it works. But no, you're gonna have a class where maybe the lesson that you was successful for you last year went and it failed, and it's okay, right? Change is okay. Change is good, right? And the more I feel like the issue is there's a disconnect because everything's changing, society's changing. We're trying, and teachers can't keep up because they were so used to this one way of what teaching used to be like. Now everything's changing, policies changing, laws are changing, right?
mhm,
Students that we're teaching is changing, demographics are changing around the communities that we teach at. So we have to catch up. We have to. We have, like, and if you don't want to learn, then why are you here?
exactly,
That's just what it is. Do you really want to be
exactly.
here? No,
At
you
the end
know?
of the day, like you said, it's all about the kids, it's about their
Mhm.
experience.
Yeah.
It's about, and I'm sorry, I think that even with, it can't just be teachers though, it has to be like
Every
leadership as
Yeah,
well, you
leadership.
know?
A thousand
Leadership
percent
sets culture,
for
and
sure.
it's like if you're a leader and you're noticing that your teachers are not doing or not or losing passion, like
Mhm.
I feel like as a school leader, there's some interventions that have to be done, like not
Yeah.
just like having conversations, but what could you do as a school community that
Yeah.
can build
To come
up
together.
veteran teachers and have them become excited again? You
Yeah.
know, not just letting it be like, oh, they're just, or that's
Yeah.
just how they are. It's being
Yeah.
like, okay, let's start to brainstorm as a school
Yeah.
leadership team.
What can we
How
do?
can we ensure that these teachers feel that love again for what they do again? What can we do? Like
Yeah.
we can't change the system as administrators, but what we can do is we can work with it and we
Mm.
can try to meet them also what their needs are. Like
Yeah.
figuring out what's important to these teachers now and trying to like see like just problem solve,
Yeah.
brainstorm. Like it all starts from the lead, all starts from the leadership, right? Because if
Mhm.
that kind of behavior is continuously propagated or continuously like accepted, then other teachers are going to feel like that's okay to do too. And they're going to
Yeah.
set that
That's
culture.
true.
So
That's
it's
true.
like as a school leadership team, as a community, as we were talking about earlier, like what could you do?
Yeah.
What interventions could you put into the school
Mhm.
that could help build up not only the kids but help build up the teachers, your staff, help build
Yeah.
up the even the outside community, because I have a
Yeah.
whole belief that a school is worthless if it does not go outside the community and start building
For
up, because
sure.
it makes no sense. What are you
For
doing
sure.
things for? Like
Mhm.
you're in this your school is in a community that serves kids around the neighborhood. You have some
Mhm.
nerve to not do anything to support this community. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you came from suburbs or wherever you
Mhm.
came from to work at this
Mhm.
school. Like no matter what leadership you came from, like you're
Yeah.
working in a community, which means that you should serve that community.
Yeah.
especially with their kids. So as a
Yep.
whole community, like what are you doing as a leadership team? What are you
Mhm.
doing to ensure that these teachers and your kids are gonna be the most successful
Yeah.
in everything?
I love that. No, that's so true. And you hit it on the point. And just like when the board teachers comedian was like, I leave at 3:05 or whatever, that's what she said. But I'm sorry, like if you're a teacher and yeah, you care and you got things to do, I don't think it's possible for you to leave right when the bell rings. That's just the truth. uh Even as like what, working for 2.5 years, I that doesn't exist, right? There's no way that you clock in as soon and then you leave at the same time. There's some extension of hours happening, whether you do it inside the school or you do it from your own home. There's no way you're clocking out like that. Like it doesn't, it's not possible. I don't know. And if it is, please tell me what is your secret, because I need to know.
Yeah, I don't think I ever used to stay late like that, but I do know teachers that as soon as it hits like 2:15, they're like
Yeah.
out. Those are the
I
teachers I usually they're like out, and I'm like, well, dang, before it
know.
even hits 2:15, I'm like, what in the
I'm
world?
still stacking chairs and talking to kids and saying goodbye by
Exactly,
the
they are
time in the
like
hallway. I'm like, what are
out,
you doing?
and I'm like,
Literally, I'm like, for the
okay.
like 15 minutes, I'm just saying goodbye to my students, literally in the hallway, and just making sure that they get home and they have everything that they need. So I don't know. That's your superpower. You need to let me know what what are you doing, because I don't have that superpower.
No, like I think for the
Literally.
first 3 years, I used to like work a lot after hours. My first three
Mhm.
years, I did that. But my fourth year, I kind of stopped doing that. But
Mhm.
I did work after school. Like I taught like an after school program for the kids. So I was like,
So
I
you're
did
still
that for two
there.
hours,
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
it's
Mhm.
to each his own, I guess. It's really
Yeah.
just like preparing. Like when you have tools, you don't really
Yeah.
have to do as much as you
Yeah.
used to. It's just kind of you tweak it for that next
Yeah.
year kind of thing.
No, 100%. No, but I'm just like, whoa, I can't, I can't wait to get there then, because I'm missing out. I be clocking 3, 4 hours after hours for fun at this point. But it's okay. It's worth it. I
No,
love what
it's
I do.
okay.
I like doing extracurricular. I love what I do. And if that is my superpower, and I'm gonna flaunt it.
As you should, girl. As you should. All right, so let's get into our what is it, our advice column.
Yes. So advice, my advice is to experienced teachers and to new teachers and teachers that are just in between and you just don't know where you are at now. I feel like you always need to reflect on why you became a teacher. Why did you want to become a teacher? Why did you sign up for this? Why did you feel like this is the career that you wanted to take, right? And a lot of the times, 9 times out of 10, it has to do something with making change or giving back or like connecting with community. You've done it as something that is bigger than yourself, right? So this is like selfless work is what we do. So I would need you to channel that and go back. If you're an experienced teacher, go back to your first year when you entered your teacher's college or university. What was that feeling like, right? Or that feeling when you just graduated. What was that feeling like for you when you were about to get your own classroom or begin working? How did you feel? And I feel like once you understand that feeling, hold on to it, because that is the feeling you need, right? That's when you are fresh. This is like the untainted version of yourself, of you being a hero of the classroom. And I need you to hold on to that, because that is so important, and not only for your sake, but the sake of all the students that are going to be in your classroom or in your classroom right now and for the future. So please hold on to that. And to new teachers, you got this. Stop questioning yourself. I know it's easier said than done. We've all been there, but you are enough as long as you are showing up 100% for your students and you're checking your biases and you're going in with open mind. You will do good. So that is my piece of advice from Mrs. San.
That was beautiful, Miss Hassan. Loved it.
Thank you.
I would say my piece of advice is it's okay. Changes are okay. Like making a change is okay. And you know, the unknown is scary, but it's even scarier to stay somewhere that you know doesn't welcome you anymore. Each are both levels of extreme, right?
Yeah.
What's that quote, like you can choose the devil you know or the devil you don't know, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about
Yeah.
though, for
I
sure.
really don't know what,
Mhm.
but I don't know why I brought that up. But my thing is like you know, change is okay. Uh,
Mhm.
you don't have to stay stuck anywhere that you don't feel welcome anymore, and that you just never
Exactly.
know what's on the other side of you making a big decision.
Exactly. And I feel like that's just what life is, you know. We all have to take the chance, you know, take the gamble, take the chance on yourself. If you feel like you're stuck in a place where it's just negative all day and it's really affecting your mental health, is it really worth it? In the big run, it's not. There's other buildings where you can be in, or other positions in life that will bring you more positivity and help you with your mental health, right? So always choose you when it comes to mental health, because you can't help kids or help other people when you are struggling yourself. That is the key. You can't pour from a cup
Exactly.
that's empty. You can't do that. It's not possible. So yeah, make sure you're taking care of yourselves. That's number one.
Absolutely. Okay, Zara, you had a quote, and I'll say mine after.
Yes, this is a quote that goes well in hand with our conversation today, and it's by my favorite Toni Morrison. And it's, as you enter positions of trust and power, dream a little before you think. And this is a reminder to respect my own dreams, to validate them, and to follow, to stop myself for not following the breaks of everything, of anxiety, of stress, of imposter syndrome, and to really deep into fall in depth into the deep of the feelings of why I even had this dream to begin with. So follow your dreams. Don't let people get in your way. One thing is society likes to conform people, but showing us this is the way that it's been done, but no, there is no blueprints, right? All teachers around the world, we're all teachers, but we don't teach the same. We create our own curriculum. We are given the government document, but we get to choose the way that we want to exercise and plan our lessons and units and tailor our assessments to our kids. So please don't fit in the way that you believe it needs to be done. Create your own path, even as an educator, but in life as well. So yeah, dream
That
big.
was that was great. Honestly, I love Toni Morrison. She's
Me too.
my favorite. Love
Favorite.
her. My quote isn't I don't know who said it, but the quote is, sometimes you are so focused on the future that you don't realize you're in the middle of what you used to pray for. And it's so deep because it's like we're going through life just like day by day by day. And sometimes because they're just little small moments, and like I feel like big moments are just little small moments that just add up over time.
Yeah.
And so we're so focused on like the things that we're struggling with, we don't even realize that we have just change dimensions. We have just
Mhm.
literally crossed over to something that we have been praying for so long. And because we're so focused on the chaos or the struggle or the stress, we don't realize that this is where we are currently is something that we would have hoped for like 2, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it just is a testament to just being present in the moment, being grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
And honestly, like just following, like Dara just said, following after your dreams, regardless of what anybody has to say, because
Mhm.
you just never know when that moment will happen, and if you're in that moment currently, if you don't just take the
Yes.
time to reflect and look around.
Yeah, no, I love that quote because like when I was in teachers college, I don't know if I told you this, but I got really sick. And there was a time when I graduated, I got even more sick and I legit thought I wouldn't be able to even teach. So I used to pray to God every day and I'm like, if you can relieve me from this pain and allow me to be a teacher in the classroom, God, like I will forever be grateful to you. And I'm living in that moment right now. There was a time I was just sick in bed for months and literally could not see myself being in the classroom. So ever since my health journey, that just showed me I just like I live in gratitude. So if you're a person who doesn't practice gratitude, take the time every day, whether it's in the morning or in the night, and reflect on everything that you're grateful for. So for me, it was just the easy to be able to walk, to be able to talk, to be able to move around without feeling pain, to be able to immerse myself, to change in students, to be myself 100% every single day and show up, is things that I don't take for granted anymore. So yeah, so I think it's good to practice gratitude and reflection and self-reflection every day. I think it's a thing that we should be doing that. So now, like, that's why when people ask me, hey, why is your energy always so positive, or why are you so happy, is because there was a time where I was broken and I thought I wouldn't be where I am today, and I'm living in my du'as. I'm living in what I prayed for. So I don't take a day for granted. So
Wow,
yeah,
girl, that
that's a
is
beautiful quote.
so, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I reflect back to wow, this is wild. I remember I was at work, I think, a couple months ago, and I was like so frustrated because I had to do like I run a business and I'm at work at the same
Mhm.
time. So I remember one time like, oh my God, I just wish I could just do my business full time. Like I gained so
Mhm.
much fulfillment in that. And then like now to come out to the end of the year where I'm like, why don't I just why
Just
don't I
do
just
it.
do it?
Literally, what you waiting for, girl? Invest in
Exactly.
yourself.
Why don't I
You
just
have
do it?
time. You got this. You have the tools. You've
Yeah.
developed this curriculum. You've developed this business, tutoring business. Yeah, you can do it. You gotta
Yeah.
bet on yourself sometimes. It is scary, but
True.
it's worth it. It's worth it.
I think it's 100% worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, guys, this was an amazing episode. Remember to follow us at them 90s teachers. You can
Yes.
follow me at Tay Janae, in which I teach teachers on how to I have a tutoring company, so I teach teachers on how to actually create their own teacher programs. So y'all can
She's great at
DM
it. She's great at it, guys. You better follow. She be dropping gems every day. Like,
me.
you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not following this woman right now.
Yes, my client Erica actually booked her first client, paid in full, everything. So I'm so proud of her. She's out here
Woo!
doing big things.
I love
So
it.
it's possible, right?
Always.
Yes. So that's me. If you want to check me out, go ahead, follow me on Instagram, DM me, ask me some questions. You already know.
Yes, and you can follow me at Miss Wanderer Soul on Instagram and on TikTok. Currently, I just dropped 2 campaigns this week, which I'm proud of. Tim Hortons is a big one for me because I used to
Yeah.
work at Tim Hortons coffee shop when I was in high school. So the fact that I get to create content for them is crazy. It's like full circle moment. Like, wow.
Let's
And then,
go.
yeah, so there's another one on my page too. So you guys can just support my page and, I don't know, run it up. That's
Let's
it.
go. Run it up some more.
Yeah, run it
72K,
up.
right? How much more? Let's go. Let's
Just
get to
run it
100.
up.
100 by like August. Let's go.
Right? We
Come
can
on.
do it. But thank you for all the support. This was actually such a great episode, and there will be more to come. What we were just getting
Just
started.
getting started.
The 90s teachers.